Hello everyone. After a night has passed, what is the fate of the last US Air Force F-15 pilot who was trapped behind enemy lines? With third-party forces intervening to seize him, what are the chances that this pilot will survive? Of course, regardless of the outcome, starting from this weekend, the US-Iran war is about to enter an entirely new phase. This is because the possibility of reaching an agreement through negotiations has become extremely slim. And this pilot incident may prompt the Trump administration to make up its mind and unleash a major move. Although there are still 48 hours left until the deadline of Trump's warning to bomb them back to the Stone Age, right? Trump has issued a new ultimatum. But in fact, I want to tell everyone that the US-Israeli coalition has already crossed the red line. They have taken unprecedented actions which have caused a public outcry. Some people are even worried that oil prices may soon surge past $200 per barrel. So what kind of actions could trigger such intense consequences? Today is April 4th Eastern Time. I am Tang Jinyuan. Welcome to Jinyuan Speaks, and I also warmly welcome everyone to subscribe to our channel. As you can see, everything is chaotic and complicated right now. So together, let's use objective facts, logic, and common sense to uncover the truth behind the news. First, I want to share with everyone the latest news that has attracted a lot of attention. This afternoon, there was a sudden surge of rumors online saying that President Trump seemed to have been urgently taken to Walter Reed Hospital, which is the highest level hospital run by the US military. Of course, there are also claims that this is the reason why Trump has canceled many public events since yesterday and so on. However, very soon, because this news naturally drew a lot of attention, the person in the photo, this is Trump's communications director named it's Stephen Zhang, right? He came out to deny this rumor. He immediately posted on Twitter saying that over the Easter weekend, President Trump has been working tirelessly in the White House and the Oval Office. Of course, next we're going to talk to everyone about the situation in Iran. So what has Trump been busy with? Since he obviously wasn't hospitalized, right? He's been busy nonstop, and of course he's been focused on the situation in Iran. Right now, the entire situation in Iran has clearly entered an accelerated phase. Let's first talk about what everyone is most concerned about, the latest situation regarding the F-15 pilot and his whereabouts. We all know that the F-15, this fighter jet, has a crew of two, right? One in the front, one in the back. The person sitting in the front is the pilot, and he has already been rescued. The one sitting in the back is actually the weapon systems operator. As of now, there is still no news about this operator. Both sides, that is the United States and Iran, are intensifying their search efforts. You can see in this picture that Iran's official media has issued a reward notice. Moreover, they have sealed off the relevant area, which is the region marked by the red dashed lines. Then they mobilized local armed personnel to conduct a thorough grid-by-grid search in this area. Now, from the U.S. side, the more definite information we have is that a retired Navy SEAL, in an interview with the media, confirmed that the U.S. military's Navy SEALs and Green Berets, at least these two Special Forces units, were involved. They have already entered the lockdown zone and are currently carrying out the mission to rescue this pilot. Moreover, there are unconfirmed reports indicating that they have already engaged in a firefight with Iranian armed forces. There have even been reports of intense firefights. Secondly, the U.S. military has already dispatched two more American HC-130J aircraft, known as the King of Combat Special Operations transport planes, from their base in Germany to the Middle East. This aircraft is specifically designed to support combat search and rescue missions, especially for, say, Black Hawk helicopters, providing aerial refueling and so on. But this plane is not just a simple refueling aircraft. It also serves as a dedicated search and rescue command aircraft for the U.S. Air Force Special Operations Command. This aircraft can remain airborne and circle for extended periods of time. Yes, as the communications hub, an aerial refueling platform for the Special Operations Team, it also has very powerful night vision and infrared scanning capabilities. The deployment of these two types of aircraft strongly indicates that the U.S. military is actively searching for the missing F-15 pilot, and that the search efforts are ongoing and expanding in scope. Because sending these two aircraft over suggests that the U.S. military may have already received an extremely faint pulse signal sent out by the pilot. Alternatively, it's possible that they have captured something through satellite infrared imaging. In the desert, even tiny changes in heat sources, like a person, for example, the pilot, no matter how well he tries to hide, right? His body temperature and the surrounding cool sand will have a temperature difference. So from high altitude, satellites may be able to detect these faint signals. Infrared signals, you see, although they still need to dispatch search and rescue planes equipped with powerful infrared scanning capabilities to search for his location. Now, many people might have a question. Why, even though a whole day and night have passed, has the pilot's location still not been pinpointed? What kind of situation is this pilot actually in? In my view, there are mainly two possibilities. The most likely one is that because the Iranian military is conducting a large-scale search, the pilot has to keep moving, escaping, and hiding, because he has definitely undergone training in survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Moreover, the area where he crashed is located in a mountainous region. The terrain is quite complex. At the time of ejection, there was a clear report stating that his beacon had indeed transmitted a signal, basically a positioning signal. But after that, up until now, it seems that this signal has disappeared. It's gone. It's been many hours now. So why did this signal disappear? I think it might be related to two factors. One factor is that in the local area, the area that has been sealed off, the Iranian authorities have implemented intense, high-powered electronic jamming. Of course, their goal is to prevent the pilot from having smooth communication with the US rescue forces, right? By jamming the signals, you simply can't make contact and you don't know where he is, which makes it easier for them to go in and find him first. Another factor could be the pilot's personal locator radio, right? It's possible that under certain circumstances it was damaged, so he simply couldn't transmit any signals. Or perhaps he was afraid that the Iranian radio detection equipment would pick up his signal, because as soon as he sends out a signal, the Iranians would also be able to detect it. So it is quite possible that he might not have even dared to transmit the signal at that moment. Actually, there is a very specific historical precedent for this kind of situation, i.e. in the past, during the conflict of the Bosnian War, there was also a well-known case where a NATO fighter jet was suddenly shot down and the pilot involved, after landing, he was also hunted. However, the place where he landed was a forested area, so he hid in the forest for a full 3 days without sending any signals, because he knew that if he sent a signal at that time, the people searching for him were also using signal detectors to look for him. If he sent out a signal, his own allies might not have had time to arrive, and he could have been captured by the enemy first. So he hid in the forest for a full 3 days without making any moves, surviving by eating insects and drinking dew to maintain his strength. After 3 days, the intensity of the search had already lessened, because by that time, most of the enemy troops believed that the pilot was probably already dead. It was only then that he intermittently sent out the signal and was quickly rescued by our side. This was a very successful operation. Precisely because of this, ever since then, whenever a pilot has an accident and ejects, the first lesson they are taught is not to continuously send out signals, because doing so actually puts you in even greater danger. That's the idea. So now this pilot is facing a dilemma, a paradox. What kind of paradox is it? If you want to be rescued, you have to send out a signal, but that could expose you. On the other hand, if you want to survive, you have to hide, but you can't hide for too long, right? You simply can't stay hidden there forever. So this ultimately means that the pilot has to strike a very careful balance. He must send out his emergency beacon at exactly the right moment. Only by doing that does he have a genuine chance to be successfully rescued by friendly forces in a timely manner. Otherwise, he might be captured by the Iraqi forces first. So today is already the second day, and it's become extremely critical, because for this pilot, according to standard procedure, they carry a survival kit with them, but it actually only contains a small amount of water and rations. In those extremely arid Middle Eastern mountains, generally speaking, it can only last for 2 to 3 days at most, especially since he has to keep hiding and constantly expending energy, right? So once the crucial 72 hours have passed, the chances of successfully rescuing him will drop significantly. Now we see that the official X account of the US Central Command has remained silent for 24 hours straight without revealing any information at all. This indicates that they are currently in a state of extreme tension and sensitivity. Besides the US and Iran both trying to recover their people, there is actually a third party involved now. Who is this third party? It's the local Iranian civilians. A large number of ordinary Iranian citizens are now urgently sending messages to each other online, saying they hope their fellow countrymen can quickly find the pilot and absolutely not let him fall into the hands of the Revolutionary Guard, and so on. In other words, many ordinary people in Iran hope to find the US pilot before their own country's military and police do. They want to protect him, so this counts as a third-party force. Therefore, it's hard to say what the current situation of the pilot is, whether he has already been protected by Iranian civilians or locals, and so on. Right now, the whole situation is rather complicated. Moreover, aside from the possibility that the pilot is still evading capture, there is another possibility, although it's less likely, we can't rule it out, which is that after ejecting, he may have been seriously injured. he may not have gotten very far from the crash site. Although this possibility is relatively low, it can't be completely ruled out. As everyone knows, the US military's F-105E, right? This fighter jet is still quite advanced and is equipped with a large amount of high-tech equipment. From the perspective of the US military's standard operating procedures, they absolutely cannot allow the high-tech equipment on this aircraft to fall into Iranian hands. Therefore, not long after the crash, the US military carried out a carpet bombing operation in the area where the wreckage was located, blowing the entire site to pieces. So now we can see that the main parts of this aircraft have been completely blown to pieces. You may have seen some pictures online, right? Those were released by the Iranian side, showing only a very small amount of the aircraft's debris. They're all wing fragments and so on, just these pieces of wreckage. So the main equipment and other items loaded on the aircraft have all been blown apart. In other words, this raises a problem. If the pilot hadn't managed to escape the scene in time, for example, if he was injured during the incident and couldn't move, right? And at the same time, if he wasn't able to communicate with headquarters in time, it's possible that during such a large-scale clearing operation, he might have already died. But as I said before, although this possibility is relatively low, it still can't be completely ruled out because right now we don't know exactly what the situation is locally. Anything could happen. That's the nature of war, isn't it? It's extremely complicated. So at present, the information being disclosed by all parties is very complex and also very vague. So all we can do is wait for the next official update. Since neither the US nor Iran has found him yet, then either this person is exceptionally skilled at hiding, right? No matter how hard they search, they just can't find him. Or maybe something unusual has really happened to him. We'll just have to keep watching and see what happens next, right? Just now, I also told everyone that Trump is currently preparing to make a big move, or you could say he's holding back a major card. I'm not exaggerating or just saying this casually. Just yesterday, for the entire day, Trump was in the Oval Office, busy with work, receiving the latest updates. Then last night, Trump canceled all press conferences and summoned the national security team to gather at the White House for an emergency meeting overnight. At 11:08 this morning, the White House officially announced the cancellation of all of President Trump's public activities. In other words, President Trump, since Wednesday night, when he delivered that speech to the nation about Iran, up until now, he has not made any public appearances, right? Moreover, he canceled his plans to spend the weekend at Mar-a-Lago. He stayed at the White House throughout the entire Easter holiday. It is precisely because of this that we have just seen such rumors circulating online. Of course, we have no way to verify this 100% right now, right? Some say he was hospitalized and so on. After remaining silent for a full 3 days, President Trump actually did come out early this morning and posted a message. This is what he said. Do you remember that I once gave Iran 10 days to reach an agreement or to open the Strait of Hormuz? Time is running out. In 48 hours, they will face hellish punishment. That was the message he posted. You might be wondering, what does this mean? First of all, at the very least, I think this way of expressing things is, of course, Trump's classic style, right? It shows that there's actually nothing seriously wrong with Trump. Secondly, this statement is essentially issuing another ultimatum. In other words, Trump is holding back a big move. He's actually about to make a major play. To prove that President Trump isn't just making empty threats against the US-Israel coalition, we've seen him take an unprecedented action from yesterday to today. What kind of action is it? Let's pause for a moment and move into today's commercial break, where I'll introduce you to the often sold-out Jeju Island Red Sea Cucumber Repair and Wellness Gel from Korea. This red sea cucumber comes from Jeju Island in Korea. It is harvested by local Haenyeo who use traditional methods passed down through generations to dive and collect wild red sea cucumbers. That's why its restorative effects on the body are excellent. The repurchase rate is also especially high, and that's because these are all wild red sea cucumbers. So the supply is very limited, which is why it often sells out. Let me share two examples with you. One is from a 63-year-old lady from Texas who gave us direct feedback. She said that she had suffered from meniscus strain for a very long time with severe knee effusion and unbearable pain. She had sought medical help in various ways, but was only able to manage it by taking antibiotics and painkillers. After watching our program, she thought she would give it a try and bought a box of red sea cucumbers. After a month, she found that the comfort of her knee joint had greatly improved and the pain had also noticeably lessened. There is also feedback from a lawyer named Song from Miami who has had high blood pressure for many years, right? He said that after taking the red sea cucumber for a period of time, he no longer felt dizzy during the day. Moreover, his sleep quality at night also improved significantly. Of course, these are all personal experiences from our audience members. I have another friend who told me directly that he had a rather stubborn mouth ulcer, and after taking this, the ulcer healed very quickly. Of course, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone will have exactly the same results, right? It's precisely because our stock is limited. So right now we're offering a special promotion. As long as you subscribe for regular orders, meaning you purchase a box of 60 red Haisheng sticks every month or every 2 months, you'll receive a free pack of raw yellow honey ginseng slices. If you subscribe to the 30-stick box of red Haisheng, you'll also get a free Korean repair sunscreen. In addition, during the promotional period, anyone who participates in the monthly subscription plan will receive an extra $10 voucher for deep yellow products. Besides that, friends in mainland China have your own exclusive special offer just for you. As long as you purchase this 60-stick box of red infrasheng, not only will you receive a free pack of raw yellow honey ginseng slices and a $10 yellow ginseng voucher, but you'll also get an additional original root of the 6-linked sealed black ginseng. The more you buy, the more you get. Of course, if you say you don't want to subscribe for regular purchases, that's totally fine too. Just remember, for one-time purchases, if you enter our promo code TJY, you can also enjoy a 15% discount. The only thing is, we can't guarantee that there will always be stock available at all times, right? So if you're interested, please click the link in the description of today's program to place your order directly. All right, thank you all for your support. Let's continue discussing this unprecedented operation by the U.S.-Israel coalition forces. Just this morning, the Israeli Air Force launched another attack on the Mashhad region in southwestern Iran. At least 5 Iranian petrochemical and oil refineries were destroyed. Multiple facilities suffered severe damage, and some were even completely demolished. This comes after the previous strike, which was more of a warning attack on Iran's gas fields. This is the first time that large-scale airstrikes have been carried out against Iran's oil and petrochemical energy industry. So as soon as this news broke, it immediately made headlines in the media, because now every country is worried that Iran will definitely retaliate. Once the Revolutionary Guard retaliates, they will surely target major oil facilities, refineries, oil fields, and so on in Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, etc., as a form of revenge. If that happens, it will definitely trigger another major global energy crisis, which is why people are saying that oil prices might surge to $200. Of course, up to now, we've seen that Iran's officials have come out with a response regarding the possible breakdown of U.S.-Iran negotiations. Yesterday, the Wall Street Journal reported that Iran had rejected all the terms of the negotiations and refused to go to Islamabad to meet with the U.S. That's why the U.S. suddenly took a tougher stance and started attacking Iran's energy facilities. So what happened next? Today, Iranian officials came out to clarify, saying that this report is a lie and that Iran has never rejected the opportunity to hold face-to-face talks with the US and so on. However, after looking into it further, I found reports from American media saying that Vice President Vance had twice planned to go to Islamabad to hold face-to-face talks with the Iranians because it was Iran who specifically requested to meet with Vance, right? You might all remember that previously Iran specifically named Vance and expressed their willingness to welcome him for talks. They said, "We don't want to talk with Vitkov." However, both times the plans were ultimately not finalized by the Iranian side and the flights had to be cancelled. In other words, Vance was stood up by the Iranians at least twice. They had agreed to meet, but when the time came, the Iranians cancelled at the last minute. So the reason why the US side has now adopted a tougher stance is that they've realized Iran might just be using the negotiations as a stalling tactic, not genuinely interested in real talks, to put it bluntly. Of course, this is the first major move from this side. Also regarding Israel, I saw the latest news before recording this program. Israel has clearly released information that they have locked onto many of Iran's major energy projects and energy targets, just waiting for Trump's approval. As soon as Trump gives the go-ahead, Israel can immediately destroy all of them. All of these are civilian targets. This would truly be a major escalation in the Iran conflict. Power plants, refineries, oil and gas fields, these could all be within the scope of the strikes if it really comes to that. Iran's entire economic foundation would completely collapse. So how did Trump's second big move come about? Strictly speaking, what we're seeing now hasn't been officially confirmed. It comes from leaks by sources in Washington who have spoken privately. It is said that the situation between the US and Iran has undergone a dramatic change. All further negotiations between the Trump administration and the Iranian regime have been permanently terminated. Trump has already decided to carry out targeted eliminations against all senior officials of the Iranian government. This includes Kalibaf and Foreign Minister Araghchi, all of whom have been added back to the list for targeted elimination. In particular, the main focus is on some senior officers of the Revolutionary Guard, who are to be subjected to targeted strikes. The report also revealed that Trump has realized that relying solely on airstrikes cannot achieve regime change, and he has already begun preparing to authorize a ground offensive, starting with an attack on Karg Island, among others. Of course, as I just mentioned, this information cannot be officially verified. It is said to have come from some private channels, so there may still be some uncertainties. Moreover, this revelation is complemented by other related news that followed closely after. What exactly is happening? A very large fleet of U.S. Air Force C-17 transport planes, along with KC-135 refueling aircraft, is currently flying across the Atlantic, heading to the Middle East. Moreover, by the time I'm recording this program with everyone, a second batch of fleets has already departed, right? From last night to this morning was the first batch, and now the second batch has already flown over. They have crossed Europe and are heading to the Middle East. Then there is news that this batch of C-17 transport planes, they are carrying not only troops, but also armored vehicles and a lot of heavy combat equipment. This means they are preparing for ground combat. This is, since the outbreak of the war, arguably the largest large-scale airlift operation. And right as I'm recording this program with everyone, according to that platform called Flight Radar 24, which is a very famous platform for tracking aircraft, the information they've revealed mentions that this second batch not only includes C-17S, but also C-5S, KC-135S, and a large number of other transport and refueling aircraft, all currently crossing the UK and Europe, on their way to the Middle East. So this means that Trump's red line, as everyone knows, he issued a psychological ultimatum, right? The 48-hour deadline is set to expire next Monday, so unless something unexpected happens next week, we may very well witness a large-scale U.S. ground offensive take place. So as for the Strait of Hormuz, who will ultimately have the final say, who will control it? We might have an answer to that next week.